What's happening, Denver? I'm Tom Sagona, and it's official. National average 30-year mortgage interest rates have broken the 8% mark. Working as a real estate broker in Denver, I get asked a lot of questions. Questions like, how's the market? What should I do? What's going on? Is now a good time? Now, why anyone thinks I know anything useful is beyond me. But between sampling microbrews, grooming my beard, and inhaling deep breaths of fresh mountain air, I do my best to stay in tune with the latest goings-on so I can pass the info on to you. But before I begin, this video is intended for informational purposes only. While I am a licensed real estate broker, I am not a lawyer or financial advisor. Nothing in this video is intended to be taken as legal or financial advice, and while all information has been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, its accuracy is not guaranteed. Furthermore, no guarantees, whether express or implied, can be made regarding possible future outcomes or events, and actual future outcomes or events may vary materially due to a wide variety of factors. In other words, there are far too many factors for anyone to predict the future with absolute certainty. So, before you make a decision based on this information, please do your own research and consult with a licensed professional where appropriate. Finally, a lot of the data I'll be sharing with you is specific to the greater Denver area. Markets can vary greatly from one location to another based on a wide variety of factors. So if your real estate interests are located elsewhere, you could be looking at a completely different picture, which is why it's so important to consult with a real estate professional who understands the local market relevant to you. Now, back to the video. On Monday, Google's mortgage loan rate tracker updated with the rates from Friday and showed that the average rate for credit scores from 700 to 719 in price points under 700K had officially jumped above 8%. Now, the national median price of existing home sales is $384,800. And according to FICO, the average American has a credit score of 716. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but to me it looks like the average American paid over 8% last Friday for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. True, buyers with above average credit scores are still averaging in the high sevens, and rates have since come back down a little. But for how long? Well, probably less than a week. At this point, no one really knows what the Fed will do after November 2nd, but most experts still agree that we can pretty much count on another rate hike this coming Tuesday. The only question seems to be how much. Regardless though, this is happening way faster than I expected. In last week's video, I shared data suggesting that rates would rise above 8% by the beginning of next year, but to be honest, I figured it would take at least one more rate hike before the average American will be paying over 8%. But wait a second, the data released by Freddie Mac last Friday said the national 30-year fixed rate average was only 6.94%. Does that mean rates across the board jumped up by more than a point in just 4 days? Of course not. That'd be crazy, right? Right? No, in all seriousness, I'd be very surprised if Freddie Mac's weekly average this Friday comes in above 8%. Rates go up and down on a daily basis, and Monday was the only day this week so far that I've seen them go up this high. However, it's important to note that Freddie Mac's national weekly average is skewed downward a bit right now as far as the average American is concerned, because it includes all price points. And as we can see, the current rates drop steeply for loan amounts above $700,000, which helps to keep the overall average down. Don't ask me why, but if I had to guess, it may have something to do with conforming loan limits hovering largely in the 600K range. Doesn't seem fair, but hey, this is America. Whatever the case may be, mortgage rates across the board have been climbing up at an alarming rate throughout the month of October, in spite of the federal funds rate remaining unchanged since September 20th. Why? Well, the funds rate isn't the only thing that influences mortgage rates. A wide variety of factors contribute, including inflation and bonds, neither of which have been doing the mortgage market any favors lately. The 10-year market yield for U.S. Treasury securities gained nearly 3/4 of a percentage point from September 20th to October 24th, rising from 3.57% to 4.25%. And September's Consumer Price Index report disappointingly showed further slowing in the gains against inflation, with only a 0.1% drop in the change year over year since the previous month. You'll notice a sudden rise in the mortgage interest rate about the same time that report was released. Well, at least inflation's still going down. That's a good thing, right? Well, yes, but it's mostly due to the recent drop in gasoline prices. While the decreased cost at the pump has been very welcome, gas prices are known for bouncing up and down a lot. And while gas prices did come down quite a bit, unfortunately food and other expenses are still on a steady rise. I don't know about you, but I tend to spend a larger portion of my budget on food than gas. And food wasn't the only metric that kept going up. So while some items such as gas did go down in the short term, it was just barely enough to keep the overall average on a downward trend. And who knows where it will go from here. All of which is basically just a fancy way of saying rates are going up just fine all on their own, without needing any extra help from the Fed. And yet, in spite of it all, inflation still continues to stubbornly persist, which means the Fed will likely continue raising the funds rate anyway. Great. So just how high could interest rates eventually go? Well, it's hard to say because a lot of it depends on inflation. But if you watched my last video, you'll know one thing. Predictions of future rates have been growing steadily more and more pessimistic from month to month for quite some time now. Even the picture I was seeing just a couple of weeks ago was very different to what I'm seeing now. At this point, it seems like the rate could continue going up for quite some time. But if there's a silver lining, at least the fact that the rates are going up all on their own seems to be leading to some hope that the Fed might at least begin to slow the rate of increase on their end. So we can at least all take comfort in knowing that experts are saying the FOMC may adopt a kindler, gentler monetary policy moving forward. Kindler? Kindler? Well, but, typos happen. I mean, CNBC is a major news network, so, we can trust what they say, right? Either way, from where I'm sitting, the rise in rates appears to be just getting started. Only when rates have risen dramatically enough to truly make an impact on inflation will the Federal Open Market Committee relent. And if they do, the rate might just keep going up anyway. So, what does this mean for you? Well, all hope is not lost. If you act now, you may still be able to lock in a rate at or below the last 50 years national average. And if the rates do go back down again in a couple of years, you can always refinance. In fact, the unique circumstances in the market right now might allow you to use a few simple tricks to lower your interest rate up to 2 percentage points or more below the national average within your credit bracket without putting down any additional cash out of your pocket. So make sure you click the subscribe button down below. It's totally free, but it'll allow you to be notified as soon as I post my next video in a couple of days, which will tell you exactly how you can lock in a rate as low as 6% or lower if you act now, and hold on to that rate for a few more months regardless of future rate hikes, so you'll have some more time to go out and shop for a home. I know that sounds like a sales pitch or a commercial, but I promise I'm not trying to sell you a mortgage here, and I don't receive any kind of incentive from any mortgage lenders for giving you this information. This is just me letting you in on a few industry secrets I use to help my clients negotiate better rates with their own preferred lender, so that you can hopefully afford a better home in the tough times ahead. Please also take a second to hit the like button down below to get this information out to as many people as possible. And of course, share this video with literally everyone you know.
Hey, you want to see a video?
If you have any questions or want to discuss in detail how all of this information applies to you, please feel free to reach out to me directly at the contact information in the description below.
Hey, you want to see a video? Hey, you want to see a video?